Hello, 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 my loves, and welcome to Pretty with Purpose, Unleashing the Power in You podcast. I'm your host, no other, Shardell, and I'm excited and glad for you to join me today. But before we go into the intro, I just want to let you know it's my pleasure to hear from my listeners. So, DM, inbox, email me. What topics would you like us to discuss? There's a particular question or something you want advice on. Reach out, okay? And I'll be sure to give all the ways you could contact me at the end of the podcast. So stay tuned to get that info, okay? Now, today's topic is self care. What is it? Self care. What is it? I want to discuss this. This is a very popular topic, self care. I love this topic, me personally. Who doesn't want to care for themselves, especially being a woman? It's so easily to put everybody before you. You know what? I don't want to limit this just to the women. I want to include the men as well. Shout out to all the men that be working hard to take care of their family, taking care of their community, to be that provider, to be that protector, to be all that we need you to be. Shout out to y'all too, because y'all good at not taking care of yourself. You got a woman more likely to take care of herself nowadays than a man. So this is for both of us. Let's jump right into it. First thing I want to get into, what is it? What is self care? What is this topic, everybody? Speak of. Some look at, self care with tongue tied. Some look at self care in a way of, getting your nails done, getting your feet done and getting your hair done and things of that nature. Some people would see that what people call self-care in them particular in that particular areas that I just named. Some people would see that as self-maintenance. Then some people say self-care is working on yourself, taking me time and doing things you enjoy. So again, what is it? I guess it leads me to my next question. How do we define self-care? Is it, getting your hair done, your nails done, everything did? Is it taking the me time? Is it, spending time with yourself and listening to yourself and taking the time to see, where you need some gender love, some tender love, some TLC, tender love and care? Is that what it is? Is it, tending to your emotional health? Is it tending to your mental health? Everybody define self-care differently, and how we care, for ourselves. Everybody see it different. This could be, even difference when it comes to culture. Every culture see self-care as different, even from a religious aspect. From a religious aspect, they could see self-care different. So self-care can be defined in so many ways, but I want to give my personal take on what I believe self-care is. Before I dive into my personal intake on self-care, I want to read this. I want to read the definition for care. I'm going to read two definitions. It says, the provision of what is necessary for the health, welfare, maintenance, and protection of someone or something. I'm going to read that definition again. The provision of what is necessary for the health, welfare, maintenance, and protection of someone else, of someone or something. Then the last definition I want to read, it says serious attention or consideration applied to doing something correctly or to avoid damage or risk. Oh, I'm loving both of these definitions because it's tying right into how I see self-care. It says again, serious attention or consideration applied to doing something correctly or to avoid damage or risk. I'm so glad I read these definitions, which I just looked up, because it ties right into, my personal take on self-care. To me, even as the definition read, it encompasses multiple things. It encompasses caring for your soul. It encompasses caring for yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, your emotional well-being. I believe it takes on all of care of all of you and not just some of you. That's what I believe self-care is. Yes, it includes the spending time with yourself and doing things you enjoy that apart from taking care of your responsibilities. Because self-care, one of the biggest part of self-care is that taking the time. You can't care for yourself if you don't make time for yourself. It all starts with making the time. And especially in the world and the society we live in today, taking time for yourself sometimes could be, overlooked. A lot of times it could be overlooked. People are so busy trying to accomplish goals, trying to provide, trying to accomplish this and accomplish that, but not realizing, the importance in slowing down to care for yourself. Even as, a popular saying, what good are you to others if you're no good to yourself first? So again, me personally, self-care, yes, it's the part of maintenance. Getting your hair done and your nails done, feet done, whether you do it yourself or whether you get it professionally done. It is those things. You got to take care of your hair. Your hair is a part of your health. Yeah, taking care of your hair, taking care of your nails, taking care of your feet, being a steward over your body. And even mentally, what is my mental state right now? Do you know we're living in a time where mental health is a big thing. We're living in a time where mental health is a big thing, and I'm glad it is. Issues that are being brought to light, mental struggles and things people are dealing with. This stuff people have been dealing with, but they're finally shining light on it. So mental health, taking the time to see how and my mental health, my mental state is doing. That's very, very important. Our spiritual. Oh, this is a big one for me, spiritual. I believe everything starts and ends spiritually. I believe we're spiritual. We're more spiritual beings than we are physical beings. Everything starts from the spirit. So our spiritual well-being, how are we in our relationship with God? Yeah, where we stand in our relationship. Are we spiritually aligned? Like, that stuff important. It has a outcome, or overall. It's the overall of everything. It connects everything. And my opinion, our physical health. Are we taking care of our bodies? Our skin. Yeah, the taking care of our bodies. Do we got some weight? We can lose. Can we make some improvement, and how this is a sensitive topic, but physical health, it matters. Just like we'll take care of our outer appearance, tending to our outer appearance, let's make sure we're tending to our inner appearance, our physical health. Yes, our emotional well-being, especially, I don't even want to say especially women, because men, y'all need it too. I ain't gonna hold you, y'all need it too. Because y'all could be some big baby sometimes. Not to single y'all out, but we both, men and women, we need to work on our emotional health. Taking care of all of us is important. We can't just, give attention to this, to neglect, everything, which A lot of times we tend to do. I'll give attention to this, but I won't give attention to that. This is important to me. This is not. And even from my personal experience, this is my time of transparency. From my personal experience and my personal journey of self-care, there's been time when I put a lot of emphasis on certain areas, whether it was me developing spiritually, or developing myself mentally, or developing myself, or is working on my goals. There was time when I would focus on certain things where that was my focus, not realizing that, wait, okay, it's good you're developing over here, but you need to spread this out, because you're making sure you're good spiritually, but what about all the other areas that you're neglecting? Yeah, there's been times I've been very neglectful. I gave attention to, what was my focus, at that time, neglecting, other parts of me. And it became to a point where God helped slow me down, in the sense of He started teaching me balance, where I stepped back from giving so much attention to the spiritual aspect of my life, whether it was dealing with ministry, my call, my spiritual giftings, and my relationship with God. He slowed me down, and kind of like was stepping me back. I didn't realize it, at that time. And the way it came through me going through hardship, me having trials, me going through pain, me having things that I was overlooking and expecting that, God would just, would just touch it and it be gone. And which a lot of times we can want that. We want to pray to God and want God to just take something from us. But in that, some things God will take from us, but the things He don't take from us is because that's the things He wants to use to develop us. So God started, using the voids, the hurt, the pain, the rejection, the abandonment, all the different things that I was silently suffering from. It was a silent sufferer, but yet it was still an out loud crowd, because the way my behavior was manifested, it was revealing that something deeper is going on. So in me slowing down and starting to give attention, it wasn't easy. No, it was emotional. Yeah, it was emotional. It was times, I was excited to do it. Then it was times where I just wanted to run away. I remember one area in particular, when dealing with loneliness, when having to face that I was feeling lonely, and I was using people to fill the void. I was using people to mask, the void, or using people as a band-aid to deal with the fact that, I was struggling with loneliness. And I was trying to fill that loneliness through relationships, whether it was platonic or romantic. And the thing was, it was, although I had platonic as well as romantic relationship going on, it still didn't satisfy, because it was a hole on the inside of me that, I couldn't put a band-aid on. It came a time where I could no longer ignore it, and I had to face the pain. And that's why, sometimes going through these journeys of self-development and really going deep in self-care, a lot of people shy away from it, because the emotional pain, the mental pain that comes with facing the thing that's causing you to be broken, facing the very thing that is hindering you, the silent hindrance that we're facing in life. And if we think we just accomplished this or we just accomplished that, then that will be the answer. When no, there's some silent hindrance we facing. And that part of self-care, it teaches us to slow down, to listen to our inner man, to listen to our soul, to listen to our spirit, and see what areas need care, what areas need attention, what areas we are neglecting. When we do that, I talked about soul care in my definition of one of the ways of how I see caring for yourself. When we do that, when we take the time to slow down and care for our soul, This is how we really produce change. You want change? Start looking in. Start looking in. You really want change, because it's in that when you start caring for your soul, you notice not just things around you change, you change. The people you once connected with change, because a lot of times we don't realize we're in relation. We're connected to people based off our brokenness. We trauma bond. We bond over hurt. We bond over filling voids. We bond because you're jacked up. You jacked up in the same way I'm jacked up, and it match. You know, a lot of times we don't want to accept or face the fact that a lot of times what we attract, the people we attract, are a reflection of what's going on in us. So it's funny how even in relationships, when people are no longer in a relationship, they badmouth the person they was in a relationship, but you didn't say that when you was in a relationship with them. They was a mirror of you. So just as well you want to point the finger and say they wasn't this and they ain't do this, you got to look at yourself and your decision making. Why did I make this decision? And even with saying that, why did I make this decision? When we slow down to care for ourselves in the way that ourself really needs it, it helps us to make better decisions. But I'm going to go more into this side of self-care in next episode, because this definitely needs a part 2, because this is deep. I kind of just want to scratch the surface, which I think I already kind of dug, when they're deep, but let me come back up. So yeah, self-care is something we need in life. It's a necessity of life. But remember, self-care requires balance. I like that. Self-care requires balance. So we're coming to a close. I want to give some tips on how to get started in caring for yourself. And it's real simple. Real simple. Very, very simple to get you started. Tip number 1, ask yourself, what do I really need? That's right. Simple question, but this is a power-packed question, because to really effectively answer this question, you got to slow down and you got to get quiet and you got to listen to the voice within and ask yourself, what do I really need? This is going beyond your surface needs, house, home, car, relationship. No, it's time to go deeper. Listen to within. What do I really need? And the second tip is this: where as a person I need to care for myself. So the first one is, what do I need? And where as a person do I need to care for myself? In other words, what areas of my life that I haven't been caring for myself, that I've been neglecting? Example, is it my health? Is it my mental state? Is it my emotional well-being? Is it my spiritual alignment? Is it the state of my soul? Where have I been neglecting me? And this is I leave you with this. Self-care is popular for a reason, because we need to slow down as people and care for all of us, and not just some of us. It's time to come out the fast lane and learn to move to your own pace, and not the pace people tell you you have to move. Not the pace of anxiousness, but slow down. Listen. What God is trying to speak to you. What is your soul telling you you are in need of? And that is all for today. Thank you, my loves, for joining me on another episode of Pretty with Purpose. Unleashing the power within you. As always, your host, Shardell. Loves, as I stated in the beginning, you can reach me on social media platforms. On Instagram and Facebook, you can find me as Pretty with Purpose by Shardell. And on TikTok, you can find me PWP. Let me repeat that because PWP by Shardell. As well as you can reach out through email PWP. Nope. Hold up. I done missed something. Email is support@pwpbyshardell.store. So be sure to follow me, to connect with me on social media. You'll find out that there's a lot of other things I have to offer, from coaching programs to private communities. Yeah, connect with me. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, my love, take care and live on purpose.